Welcome to Community Cocktails with Kimberly, hosted by Kimberly Woodard, a realtor for nearly 20 years with Ebby Halliday Realtors. Join her every first and third Wednesday of the month as she meets with the top community influencers to help you get to know the area you want to call home. Don't just love your home, love your community. And now, your host, Kimberly Woodard.
Welcome, viewers, to this episode of Community Cocktails with Kimberly. You will not want to miss this episode. So we are right here in the holiday season. And what happens during the holiday season? Oh yes, those goodies are all over the place. They are in front of you everywhere, whether you're at the office, whether you're at a kid's party or your own parties. And we don't like to too much overindulge because it does increase that waistline. So I have Shelley, certified nutritionist and chef.
Yes.
Welcome, Shelley.
Thank you so much. Let's talk about food. My favorite topic.
I know. So let's first say, how did you get into this field?
Yeah. So if you had asked me 15 years ago that I was going to be teaching people how to cook healthy for a living, I would have laughed at you. I was trying to feed my family whatever I could, just like every American mom and wife. And on Super Bowl Sunday of 2014, my 41-year-old husband at the time had a massive heart attack. Oh. He had 100% blockage in one of his arteries, and he lived. He had a stent put in, but when it was over, I know how you can relate as a mom and a wife. When you want to heal them, you want to fix them, you're a fixer. Yes. You get your mama bear claws come out and you're like, what do we need to do to make this man better?
Right.
And I instinctively went to food. My husband and I had decided we didn't want him to be on 7 prescription drugs for the rest of his life.
Yes.
And prescription drugs were not going to define his health. Mm-hmm. And we decided to do it through food. And so I just kind of went on this quest and I Googled it to death, heart healthy recipes and healthy recipes to heal all the things. And I was just hitting a lot of roadblocks. And so I decided to go to school and learn some things. And as I was learning and I was feeding him and myself, our health completely did a 180. Oh, wow. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that what we're eating actually can make you feel like I had never just connected the dots of food and health. Right. I know that sounds so elementary, but when you're forced with a life scare, it really puts you into holy moly.
Oh, definitely.
And so I watched him heal. But the crazy thing is, Kimberly, I didn't realize I was sick too. And I started feeling good. I started feeling better than I ever felt in my life just by cutting back on inflammation and cutting back on inflammatory foods like dairy and gluten and sugar. And when I did that, my eyes were brighter. I had more energy. My husband was healing his heart too, but that's when I was like, nobody's talking about this enough.
No,
we're always reactive to sickness. Well, I want to get in front of it with people and teach them prevention through food.
Yes.
So that's why I do what I do.
Well, I love that. And I love the story, unfortunately, sometimes you're like, it was an unfortunate situation, but the outcome of it is a good one.
I'm really glad now that it happened.
Yeah.
It just changed us forever. It not only did it change our health and the way we eat, but it also changed our outlook on life.
Definitely.
We sold everything we owned. We bought an RV and we traveled life for a year. We just shut life down and we just really got back to the basics of what was important in life.
Yeah.
And one of those was being healthy. And so we just kind of went on this quest together and here we are 7 years later.
Wow. Well, and I always say, everything happens in, some people are such cliche for a reason, but it really does.
It really does.
It really does. And your story definitely impacts that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to share the information with people because I see transformation in the clients that I help and the classes that I teach. Right. And I hear stories every week. People are emailing me, calling me, DMing me saying, thank you. You changed my life because I didn't know that dairy was inflammatory.
Right.
When I gave it up, I can't believe how many symptoms went away and just the little things like that. So that's why I keep pushing along.
I love it. Well, so let's talk about, here we are in the holiday season.
Ma'am. Everyone's favorite time to eat.
It is. We got those cookies. We got,
the cocktails.
The cocktails. Just like every time you turn the corner, there is something.
Oh yeah.
Is sugar in front of you.
Yep. 100%.
And so how do we, we don't want to deprive ourselves.
No.
Because I always say, if you deprive yourself, then you want it even more.
Yeah, and you create bad eating habits that
Correct.
way.
So,
I just feel there's balance. I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, the holidays is not a 3-month excuse to eat like crap.
yeah,
The holidays are only 2 or 3 or 4 days within those 2 or 3 months. So when you're not at a holiday party and you're not at Thanksgiving dinner, really make good decisions. Eat those anti-inflammatory foods, eat a lot of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes. When you're not indulging on those
Right.
special occasions, that's the time to indulge, right?
Yes.
Now watch what you put on your plate and how much you're putting on your plate. We don't need a plate this big, you eat this much, but enjoy your grandmother's chocolate pie recipe
Right.
and enjoy those things. But when you're not at that meal, really be cognizant and eat with consciousness.
Yep. Well, maybe not go for that second or third
Right.
helping.
Right. Exactly.
Or maybe spread it out. I know at our house we always have for Thanksgiving and also for Christmas, we always have pumpkin pie and we
Yeah.
always have apple pie.
Yeah.
And so what we like to do now, some of the people in our household have normal sized portions of both. Others will do a little sliver of both.
Yes.
And that would be like my mother and myself or my sister or the slivers. The boys,
Not so much. They have no self-control. Yeah, a couple times a year, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But it's in the daily habits that really make a long-term difference
Yeah.
on your health.
Oh,
Like what are you snacking on at 3 p.m.? What are you drinking in the carpool line?
Yes.
What are you eating at your desk at lunch? Like those are the things that really add up and can really snowball into an unhealthy life and a tragic scare or a long-term chronic condition,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, and that makes a good point is that, you've got these holiday parties and everything on your calendar, maybe, looking at, what you're going to, and then
Yeah.
accordingly do your
Yes.
food routine, according to how your parties are.
I call it plan your week moments.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go to happy hour with the girls and there's going to be a charcuterie board and you're going to have 3 glasses of wine on
Right.
Friday, Monday through Thursday, let's try not to overindulge and let's really fill our body with those good, nutritious foods so that we can enjoy our Friday nights.
Yes.
So I'd say plan your week moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Or your holidays.
Your holidays. Well, then I look at my calendar and what we were talking about earlier is I feel like this year, because last year people were just starting
Yeah.
to have those parties, and this year I'm already getting
Right.
and I was getting these early November for December. I'm like, I felt like I was already in December because it's like you're getting booked up, and so then I think I'm going to have something like every night.
Yeah. Yep. And then sometimes when I know I'm going to dinner and I'm not going to be able to, choose the oils that they put in my recipe,
Right.
because I'm not going to be that person at the restaurant,
Right.
but I can think ahead and say, okay, Shelley, lay off the bread. You've been to 3 holiday parties this week, stick with your protein and some veggies and
Yes.
enjoy the time. But it's not a free for all just because you're invited to a lot of parties.
Yes.
Really, just make smart decisions.
No, it is. I mean, you've got to proportionize, kind of look at what is there
Yeah.
and, not overindulge. And
Right.
I would say, probably one tip is probably not to go starving.
That's very good point. Like, don't go to the grocery store hungry.
Yes. Don't go to the parties hungry.
Don't go to the party starving, ready to indulge in the whole buffet.
Because then that just is out the door. Any of those
For
tips
sure.
we've just given you. The other thing is, let's talk about when we're making some of those favorite recipes.
Yeah.
How can we maybe slip in a healthier choice of ingredient that maybe. I'll use my husband for an example. He's like, I know you use low fat milk in that, or you use that. I'm like, no.
I don't know why we have to play games
Yes.
with the men in our life so much, but
Right.
we do. My husband is an exception only because of what happened to him. But
Right.
yeah, it's just, and if you have to lie, lie. That's my philosophy when cooking healthy for the family who doesn't want healthy stuff. My parents will come over and they've learned not to ask me what's in it because if it tastes good, they'll eat it.
Right.
But my dad used to be like, "Is there quinoa in here?" And I'd be like, "I'm not telling you, just eat it." And so, yeah, you just don't tell them.
You just
omit it.
It's your
but
secret.
back to your question about,
Yes.
so I use the candied yam recipe as an example,
Yeah.
and I've kind of made it healthier, but it's still very sweet. It's still very delicious.
Right.
But instead of doing marshmallows on top, and instead of using butter in your potatoes, maybe use some avocado oil because you can't taste it.
Yeah.
And then on the top, I'll do like I'll take crushed up nuts like almonds or oats even, and cashews, and then I'll mix them up with like maple syrup, a little bit of salt, and I'll roast them so they're crunchy, and then put that on top instead of marshmallows. But it's still sweet, it's still delicious, but you're not, and you still get the taste of home and the taste of family tradition without all of the inflammatory stuff in there that's not good for you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. And the nuts, you've got some protein.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good little, twist on, a little bit healthier and that one traditional that we see all the time, because, I know we have that. We'll have the traditional turkey dinner during Thanksgiving, but we also will do it kind of a smorgasbord on Christmas Day, and we always have that there.
Yeah, and that's fine. But if people are wanting to kind of make recipes healthier, it's not that difficult. You just switch out some sweeteners for healthy ones, and then switch out your dairy for non-dairy stuff. And then you've got a healthier recipe, but you're still getting the core of what the recipe is, right? Because oils are really important. That's probably the topic I talk about most. People don't realize how oils are in everything you buy, and then you cook with them. So it's important to choose good oils. You don't want inflammatory refined oils like vegetable oil. It's just a bunch of junk. It's just a chemical in a bottle, and it causes a lot of health problems, and people aren't talking about it.
Well, and that's, in all those, you go to the 1960s cookbook.
Yes, it's all canola, vegetable.
Canola, vegetable oil is in that.
Yep.
But I like your point about the avocado oil.
Yeah, I use it in everything because it's heat safe. It likes high heat, so you can saute with it.
Yes.
It's odorless, virtually tasteless, and it's just a very good versatile oil, but it also provides you those good healthy fats that we need. Healthy fats people don't talk about that enough either. Mental health is such a big thing right now, and we've got to feed our brain those good healthy fats, and avocado oil is a really good option for that.
Oh, so I can use that. Would I use it the same amount in my recipes that would call for the vegetable?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have avocado oil, but I just never know. Like, what am I supposed to use with this?
Yes.
I haven't, because I thought I needed to buy it to make my kitchen look like I was healthy.
Now you can use it. Now you can use it. Throw out the vegetable oil and use and I'm sorry, not canola. That's terrible.
Yes.
Use avocado oil.
Oh, I love that. So, and again, to my point, a lot of those recipes that we see, those yummy holiday recipes, have that vegetable oil.
Yes, they do. And it's easy to switch out. You cannot taste the difference.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do that.
And then in baking recipes, you can switch out like coconut oil for like the vegetable or whatever oil. You just have to melt it down so it's not a solid.
Okay.
But coconut oil is a really good option for any baking recipe, and it doesn't make it taste like coconut.
Okay.
But it's
I have that in the pantry too. Another thing I have that looks like I'm healthy.
I have a friend that I use this quote all the time, but it's every day's a school day, right? You learn something every day.
So we have now we can get rid of that Crisco.
Yeah. There you go. Please throw it away.
Because again, that is Crisco. I mean, all those grandmothers' recipes, they have Crisco.
Did you know Crisco was Procter & Gamble originally made it for candles?
Oh.
It started out in candles, and then they put it in food.
I can
turn it into a food.
Yes, I can see that. It's very thick and waxy. So I can see that.
Yeah.
But so if you're getting ready to bake, do all those fun things. You've just learned 2 tips.
There we go.
To switch out some ingredients, stick it on those family members, and you'll feel a little bit better.
And they'll never know the difference.
I love that.
Don't tell them.
Oh no. Okay. So we have we've got I'll stock up on vegetable or on avocado oil,
Yes.
and switch out that vegetable oil.
Yep.
We've got to get rid of the Crisco.
Yes, need to
and
get rid of the
And then
Crisco.
get the coconut.
Yes, and get rid of white refined sugar.
Okay. So what do we?
So there are healthy sweeteners out there.
Okay.
I like that. I like what you said earlier about not depriving yourselves. That's what I teach in my classes a lot. Is I don't want you to think you can't have sweets and you can't indulge in sweet desserts and stuff. You just need to make better choices with the sugar and the sweeteners that you're using. So my three favorites are coconut sugar, which you can actually substitute coconut sugar for white refined sugar 1-for-1 because it's a granule.
Okay.
And then you can do honey is really great. Raw local honey. I always get that wrong. I always say it wrong. And then maple syrup is my favorite.
Oh.
So those are three healthier sweeteners. I mean, of course, in moderation. You don't want to drink the whole jug. But they're healthy and they have health benefits, right? They're anti-inflammatory. They have antioxidants in them because they're natural, you know?
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's okay to have sweet things. Just try to stay away from that white refined sugar in the recipes when you can. The only time we use white sugar is for our hummingbirds. They love it.
Well, I mean, we've just all learned some great tips. Now let's talk about something that you have that just came out.
Oh, yes.
So you have a new cookbook. So all these tips that she's telling us, people, you can get your own cookbook.
It's called What's on Your Fork. And it's on Amazon and barnesandnoble.com. And it's over 100 different meal ideas for an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. So all of my recipes are gluten and dairy free.
Okay.
But it's meals. So no desserts or breakfast. It's just good. Like if you need to have a dinner or a good lunch, if you want to do some meal prep, these recipes are great to make ahead of time. Yeah. And one thing I love about it is it's got a notes section on every recipe and pictures. So if you want to write your own notes next to it to kind of, let's say you change out an ingredient or you're allergic to tomatoes.
Correct.
You can write in there and say, well, I liked it with this, or it's kind of like a food journal meets cookbook.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And then every recipe also has tips and why I use the ingredients that I used and then different options that you can do. So anyway, it's more than just a cookbook. And it has stories in here. I talk about my sous chef in here, which is my dog.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, What's on Your Fork? Amazon. Yeah. I came out about a month ago.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So now again, back to it, it's not so much, it's a lifestyle change.
It is all about balance, and it's not a diet. It's a journey, right?
Yes.
Our relationship with food, it's a tight one, you know, and we want to love it and we want it to love us back. So I just tell people, think of it as a relationship. You know, you're going to be with it for the long haul. Everybody has to eat. So let's make it a healthy relationship where you both get along, where it likes you and you like it. And it's just, you go down the path, the journey together, and it's a lifestyle.
It is. So when you are enjoying yourself at these holiday parties,
which you should.
Remember, it is a lifestyle on your food. So, don't take one cookie instead of 5.
Exactly. I agree. Have the cookie.
Yes. But, and then you've got some great tips. And so I am so excited that I've learned a couple of new things I'm going to switch out and try today. And I hope my viewers do too.
Absolutely.
Well, here's to the holiday season.
Cheers, Kimberly. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to contact Kimberly with your real estate needs, you can reach her at kimberlywoodard.ebby.com. We hope you enjoyed our guest this week, and remember, don't just love your home, love your community.